Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. I'm really excited to invite Amber Call. She's the co-founder, CEO, and TGO, which we'll find out what that means a little bit later. But she balances work-life balance with her business. So she books. She's going to talk about e-commerce and how she does it all. Really fascinated with this subject for a lot of the audience out there. They're moms or dads, and they want to talk about financial freedom for their families. So, Amber, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Tell kind of. I know I gave you a that intro, but kind of tell people a little bit more and how you got started, what you stand for, what you do, etc.
Yeah, so we actually started about 5 years ago, and we actually have two businesses that we work with, and one is called Build It Accounting, and then the other one is called Bookkeep Team. And we work primarily with e-commerce companies. Our Build It Accounting is actually all about advisory for businesses of any type. And so we like to become friends with our clients, because we feel like once we can have better communication with them and know exactly what they're looking for, we can actually help them work towards achieving it.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. So kind of talk about how you what I gather from speaking with you and meeting with you is that you're using business and side incomes to balance motherhood, family. So talk about your
My
your
balance.
ideals around
Yeah.
those values.
Yes. I have 6 children, and we homeschool on top of everything else, and it is hard. I'm not gonna lie. Some days I'm like, why are we doing this? But at the end of the day, it comes down to I want to have a good relationship with my children. I want them to know that they can come and talk to us. Um, they know that when my door is closed, that mom's in meetings and that they need to wait. Luckily, their dad, I was able to make it to where he doesn't have to work full time anymore, and so he's home a lot. And so we're able to kind of tag team it ourselves, between I'm working, he's working, or who's teaching who, or who's running who to who what appointment and stuff like that. Um, a lot of it comes down to communication, just having really clear lines of what is expected from each other. And then every Sunday we go over what is going on for the whole week, and we kind of break down, what our tasks are and what we're responsible for, and not just for our family, but for the business also. That
Yeah,
way, there's no, oh, you didn't tell me or anything like that. So, yeah.
yeah, interesting. So yeah, the other question is how do you it sounds like you by creating boundaries, creating time. Um, one thing is where you talk about um, where you leverage e-commerce and you also use Homestead and balancing books. Kind of talk about that as well.
Oh, yes. So, Bookkeep Team is centered specifically around e-commerce. And what I like about it so much is that my family is a little bit more on the geeky side. We like to play games and do stuff like that as a family. That's what we like to do. And so I thought, well, what if I could put business and pleasure together and make it kind of a family affair? So we help a lot of e-commerce in almost anything, but we also help specifically YouTubers that sell merch or social influencers, stuff like that. But what's awesome is that because we've made it a family affair and we have worked together as a family towards all these goals, that's where homesteading has come in, where we can raise our own animals for meat. And we've got chickens and ducks and rabbits right now. We had turkeys, and we went through the homeschooling process of teaching our children how to slaughter them, and that was a learning experience for me. But luckily the kids were like, "Whoa, I didn't know that's how you did it." And they're like, "This is where the food at the store comes from. It's an actual animal. You just don't see the process." And so it's teaching them a respect for animals and to not waste their food. So that actually helps too. And it's all a part of, learning life lessons for us and trying to make as much of it relatable to different parts of our life, each learning lesson. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I was actually taught not to waste food, but that was through a more of a very I wouldn't say brutal, but more of a but it's in, so talk about this talk about this idea of so we'll get into kind of accounting because this is what you talk about. And
Yeah.
so you talk about the concept of customer acquisition costs and how it impacts e-commerce profitability.
Yes. So when we are trying to acquire, or any e-commerce, okay, for e-commerce and specifically, when they're trying to acquire clients, it really, the cost of acquiring those clients is what we're keeping track of for them. So if it costs, $500 per client, well, if they're only selling a one-time product, then it's really affecting their bottom line. And so we like to help keep track of that with our clients so that they know where they're at in their profit margins, so that they can know whether or not they're having a profitable, acquiring those clients are worth it in that way, is basically what I'm trying to go out.
Yeah, it's and then the other question is customer acquisition costs, and then you have what is the significance of average order value in e-commerce?
The average order value?
Yeah, AOV in e-commerce.
Oh yeah, AOV. Okay. I actually have some notes because I don't like getting put on the spot. So hold on a second. I have all of the questions down, but I don't think I did.
Well, the other question is, what is the importance of inventory management in e-commerce accounting?
Yes, inventory management is like extremely important because it helps keep track of the turnover rate for the e-commerce back orders, the dead stock, and it enables businesses to make informed stocking decisions about what to order next. Or if they've got too much on hand and they need to do a sale to clear it out, stuff like that. So, and then it also helps on the tax side of things, because if they can keep track monthly of what their inventory management is, it will give them a more precise idea of what their asset value is of their current stock levels. And so it's very important when it comes to taxes. So, yeah.
Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah.
So then the other question is, talk about financial freedom for physicians leveraging e-commerce accounting to achieve personal and professional goals.
So I've actually thought about this because I thought it was interesting of, e-commerce accounting, and, you work obviously with physicians, right? And so, but I mean, in today's day and, in today's world, basically, is that that physicians can sell their services online. And that, I mean, just imagine, like, 10 years ago, that would be like, what? How the heck is that going to happen, right? But I mean, it's true. Like, physicians can, sell recorded sessions of talking to their clients, or they, like if there's anything they're trying to help them overcome. I'm thinking specifically like, psychologists or therapists or stuff like that, for the recorded session. So maybe coaching them to overcome anxiety and stuff like that. If they were to sell the pre-recorded sessions on how to do that, they could, have an income stream right there. They would have to pay sales tax on it. If it's a live session, they don't though. And if they were to do like what is it called? Telecommunication for actual physicians. I've actually done that myself for one of my children. We see a doctor in another state. He has a very special condition. And we've actually done a telecommunication. We've done an actual clinical visit with him online. And that counted as a clinical visit for him, even though we weren't actually in the clinic. And I mean, it's getting to the point to where we're using technology more and more to advance what we're capable of. And I feel like physicians are, they're right along with everybody else. They're getting up there. I mean, everybody though likes to see their doctor in person. I don't know anybody who doesn't really want to, but if they are homebound, I mean, it's a wonderful way to have a conversation with your physician and actually see them face to face, online.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So let me ask, it's kind of the other question is crafting the exit, the role of accounting and e-commerce business transition strategies.
Yes. So when we're actually preparing e-commerce businesses, which I mean, this could also apply to physicians that are looking to sell their businesses to get out, right? I don't know anybody who's like, oh, I want to work till I die. Eventually, we all want to get out, right? So I think it's very important when we're crafting these things is putting together an effective exit strategy. So knowing when is the best time to sell your business so that you can make the most profit getting out of it. So that you essentially, sell and then get a retirement, right? Because a lot of us that own our own businesses, we either pay into a retirement or we hope that the sale of our business is the retirement, right? And so by crafting one and putting it together and actually having that plan in place, one, we can lower how much taxes that you have to pay when you do exit. Two, we can make sure that you're getting the most money out of your sale, and you have no liabilities left. You can pay off any liabilities you have, so any loans or anything like that, to make sure that you get the most out of it. Basically, is what we like to do, and we have a pretty good strategy in place for how we do it. So,
Yeah. Talk about from homesteading to e-commerce, lessons in sustainability and financial growth.
So this one's a really, it's kind of close to me because I actually grew up without water and power, living off grid for 9 years. My parents did it for 12 before they ended up moving. But I did it for 9 years myself. And it was through being a teenager, which, believe me, as a teenager, I thought that was like, it sucked really bad. But I learned so much about what you're building for yourself and for your future. And I feel like that really translates over to any business. I like to use the example of e-commerce because you pretty much, when you start e-commerce, all you have is an idea. And when you go to live off grid, that's an idea too. And so homesteading and the lessons that I learned from building a sustainable homestead to provide for us, it's been a great tool to use to teach others about how to build their business. So you got to start from the ground up. You can't just go from here to millionaire, and that's just not how it works. And so having those lessons in place and being able to relay them in a way that my clients understand, I feel like it's been a huge benefit. So.
Yeah, very interesting. How can people contact you, follow you, reach out to you, etc.?
So they can go to our website, which is bookkeepteam.com, and you can schedule there. I'll also provide you with a link to my scheduler or the website, either one, so that they can go take a look at us. They can also just reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm around. But Bookkeep Team, you search for Bookkeep Team. Oh, I'm on Instagram too. I forgot that. And YouTube. I'm around.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's thank Amber for coming onto the show and talk. Really interesting discussion. And be sure to follow her on all of her social media. And with that, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.